Hello, great people. It's me, Shakita Valentine, and my life purpose is to enlighten, encourage, and empower. I am so excited that you are here. If this is your first time visiting, thank you for stopping by. If you are a return visitor, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button below and that bell so you can be notified about the uploads that happen every Wednesday. We here at Naturally Living a Spiritual Life channel is looking, or it's been at the end of our series of ending cycles. Ending vicious cycles. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and look at the previous weeks of the ending cycle series so you'll be brought up to date and so you can understand what I'm talking about today. So today, the past couple of weeks, we've discussed some personal things. We've discussed some personal culture and some personal definitions. This week, we're going to be looking at some personal perspectives. I am going to be very open, honest, and transparent right now. So this ending cycle series was birthed out of experience, my personal experience, that I needed to figure out how to end cycles in my life. It was just that simple. And I wanted a pattern, and I'm very methodical in the things that I do. So I wanted a pattern. I wanted a process. So I prayed about it. Yeah. And trust me, it doesn't sound as simple as I'm trying to make it. I know breaking cycles is very, very difficult. So today I want to address your personal perspective about this breaking cycle, breaking your vicious cycle. I'll share that when I was going through the process of breaking my cycles, it was just no holds barred. I was unleashed and I was on a rampage. I was knocking things out like crazy. Once I got the formula down packed, I put you in this box and I categorized you and no, you are going, whatever it was going to take for me to stay focused, because I was so adamant about breaking the cycle. There was no gray. It was very black or white, no gray. And I had to get reeled in personally, because I was shutting a lot of things out because I was so protective of all of my decisions that I was making. And I resolved to myself that I needed to be okay with this next thing. And that's my personal perspective of ending cycles. There was two things that I had to deal with: my standards and my expectations. And you're going to have to deal with that going forward in breaking your cycle. Your personal perspective is going to be changed around a lot of things. And so you need to build your personal standard box and your personal expectation box. Now, when it comes to standards and expectations, a lot of people know that term a lot around, it's used around relationship building and relationship stuff. And it is. And what you don't realize that you're really doing is you're building this other relationship with yourself, with your new self, and your best version of you. You're building that relationship. And so know that there is a difference, though. There's a difference within your personal standard and a difference in your personal expectation. Now, the standard is the rule of thumb. It is what you will and will not accept. It is the bar. It should be the lowest of all bars. And then your expectation is of yourself, of executing. And we talked about last week about execution. Executing. Now, I experienced high execution because I was adamant about breaking cycles. I experienced high execution because I was relentless in breaking the cycles. And I also experienced hurt, also experienced disappointment in myself because of my expectations of myself. And so with that, a point of prayer came into play because I was in a place of disappointment of not being able to deliver on some things that I expected to do. I mean, this is just standard life stuff, right? And it really wasn't standard life stuff, because when you're breaking a cycle, that means that you have so much contending with what you used to do. With that being said, I prayed about the point, and I got this scripture out of prayer. It was birthed out of prayer. I'd never seen it before. It's in Psalm 62 and 5. And I'm going to read it in your hearing. It's just one simple passage in Psalm 62 and 5. And it says, in essence, It says, for my soul waits silently for God alone, for my expectations is from the Lord. All of my expectations are from the Lord at this point. And once I was able to digest that particular scripture and realize that my standards, great. My delivery, cool. My expectations, I'm not saying I had to lower them, but I had to adjust them in breaking the cycles because I became so fearless in doing so. And so with that being said, know that there's a difference between your standards and your expectations with your relationship with your new self. In this particular passage, David was he was in another battle as usual. He was in another battle. What it really extracted from me and what it really conveyed to me is that even in the midst of your battle, even in the midst of you fighting these cycles and breaking these cycles, because they really are fights and they really are battles, that you just have to have trust in the Lord. You have to trust in the Lord that he will help you in this, that he will deliver you from whatever you attempting to be delivered from, and that all of your expectations, how it will happen, is not all on you. That if you begin to put all of your expectations in the Lord, you will get even more momentum in breaking your cycles. The one nugget I walked away from is, as long as you expect God, you don't have to expect yourself. As long as you trust him, you'll learn to trust yourself more. And so with those nuggets, walk away ending your cycles in a healthy manner. And knowing that your personal perspective of ending your cycles, there's a difference between the standard and the expectation. And we know that all of our expectation will be high in ourselves, that all of our expectations should be in the Lord. And that ultimate outcome is going to be something that's going to just change your life. I love you. I pray much success in you ending your cycles. I am looking forward to next month. Oh my gosh, it's February already. Can you believe it? The month of love. Can you believe it? And guess what we're going to be talking about? Bad breakups. Okay. In our relationship series, I love you. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. And if you haven't already done so, follow me on my social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And if you have a comment, leave it below. And I'll see you next week as we start our series in bad breakups. Bye.